You know how the elephant fucked the ant? My grandfather asked me. With patience and perseverance. Such is the wise tale of how to court any girl, but what a load of crap. You can't make someone fall in love with you by giving them more of what they just take for granted. You do that and you're using hope as tactic. As a divorce coach, I've seen way too many guys suffer because they're not ready to let go of the marriage. You're in denial, and just like any addict, you may not want to admit this, but you'll pay any price to get your wife back. Any. But what is the price of denial, and can you reach accepting your circumstances earlier? In other words, can you speed up the process? Let's find out, and let's start revving that engine. Everyone, I'm Rene Garcia, and I'm a divorce and recovery coach for men. I work with now thousands of men just like you to help them get their life and their balls after divorce, because no girl, not a single one, no matter how hot a piece of ass is, no girl deserves your balls. No one does. You already gave her the family jewels in the form of a diamond. Don't give her any more of your precious stones. If you're going through a divorce, you're going to need help. Therapy is great, but you need a coach. You need one that specializes in divorce and works exclusively with men. So use my resources and make a one-on-one with me. I'll help you get ahead of the problem and speed up the recovery, because you need a professional, and the earlier you call me, the sooner I can speed up your recovery. The initial consultation is free, so schedule a call today, because I'm not therapy. I come with answers, and I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't believe that I was the best. Just way too important. On occasions, I get men make a one-on-one with me that are still in their I'm still trying phase. They want to hear that everything's going to be okay, and it will be. And I say that with all confidence, but not in the way that you want it to be okay, but rather in the way that you need it. Because when this is all over, you won't want her back. You wouldn't even fuck her for the sport of it. But you don't know that right now. I have to remind them that the reason why they're where they're at is because that part of their life, it's over. I'm sure many of you reached out to Save Your Marriage coaches, and you'll ask them how the fuck to keep your family back together, and they'll promise you nirvana, all at the rough cost of 2 to 3 times my program's price, and they'll quote you some ridiculously inflated number of reconciliation of up to 80%. But for how long is that reconciliation? Because there's no accountability to her end. Like zero accountability. And when you don't have any skin in the game, you just take shit for granted. When I felt my apocalypse coming, I called one of those programs, and I did look into repairing my marriage. And I believe then, as I do now, that their heart is in the right place. But when I joined their group, it terrified me. I did not want to be one of those guys that's caught their wife cheating for the 3rd time. Those guys that are in their 4th year of trying to make shit work because they can't imagine their life without her. Those guys that continue to live in fear of what's next. I couldn't, and I refused to be one of them. So to those men that have been through that part of their life, I say thank you. Thank you, because in many ways, you were my inspiration. You helped me reach radical acceptance of my circumstances. You can do better. You just don't know it. Denial is the most expensive part of a breakup. You attempt to resuscitate a relationship through pointless acts of kindness, gifts, and your improved appearance, even after she decided that the love is gone. It's like a physician trying to resuscitate a brain-dead body that's on life support. The soul's already dead, and there's nothing that you can do to bring it back, and you're left with guilt, shame, and regret as you genuinely dislike the man that you've become. And that's actually a powerful, very powerful thing, because by God, I hope that by now this leads you to understand the price that you paid, because you're no longer denying. You're just postponing. Denial takes away from your attention, your mind, your social circle, other family members, your finances, your relationship with yourself, relationship with your kids, your purpose. But all of these can be repaired, except for that time, the fucking time that you wasted, all the time you lost, all those years that you'll never get back. And that's the real tragedy in all this for many of you, that you spent the latter years of your life under someone else's rules. When your wife tells you that she wants out, we want the answers, we pray for the why, and we ask for one more chance. We swear to her and the world that we're going to change. And you know what? Contrary to popular belief, men do change. We hold up our end of the bargain. But here's the problem in all this. If you're in this particular situation, stop and ask yourself, are you holding up your end of the bargain? Hell, ask her. See how she answers, because leadership 101. When I would put someone on a performance improvement plan, HR, the first thing they'd ask me if is my mind made up or if I wanted to genuinely see improvement. So is she giving you a, yeah, you've gotten better? As though it's difficult for her to concede, then you got bigger problems and there's going to be more to come. But if you're getting a, and I'm really happy with the direction, that yes, I love you and that's a reward, tonight you're getting the girlfriend experience. Then the request was genuine. She, however, did not offer anything in return, and it could have been just a simple gesture that she appreciates you and that she's noticing a change. That's it. That simple lack of return, it leads to a slippery slope and eventually the demise because she's taking them for granted. She's winging her demands. She doesn't mean them. She's making them up. And from my narrow point of view is she's waiting for you to fail. So just like HR, it's time for you to start asking her, is your mind made up? Because she's not doing shit. She's not working on the relationship. You are. She's not. And that's arrogance and any kind of lack of empathy. Empathy for someone that doesn't deserve your best because she's not at a good place. You're doing all the fucking work here, and that's a very extremely heavy cross to carry. And I did what you did. So many vacations, money, bending my rules, trying to use a simple band-aid to her pernicious cancer. You can't make someone fulfilled when they're already empty. This goes on for some time, a year, usually 2. In the meantime, you continue to give in to her demands. It's the whole story of the frog in a pot of warm water and slowly raising the temperature until it dies sort of thing. You're too busy trying to make her happy that you've managed to make yourself extremely unhappy, and she's still the same unhappy person because she's living with someone that she's slowly falling out of or fallen out of love with. And she's angry. She's extremely angry as she blames you for everything. And the insults begin. She lost respect for the person who no longer respects himself, who used to live life in his own terms. You're no longer that guy. You lost your identity and now you're left wondering your purpose. And you're wondering what for. So we doubled down, and it's no longer about your love for her, but rather because you want to prove her wrong. Fuck that. So she leaves you broken, cheated, and full of regret. And let me say that as a professional coach, the common reaction for now at least is self-blame and shame. So if you're feeling like this, feel comfortable knowing that your perspective is going to change. It's going to evolve. You've been so busy listening to her and kissing her ass that you believe her bullshit. You refuse to see what a majority role she played in the breakup. When it's all in perspective, it really was overwhelmingly her choice because in a relationship, it just takes one person to quit, and she quit on you. So she leaves you broken and questioning who you are. What you don't know, and I didn't then, is that it's all how you look at things. Her leaving me was a blessing. She did me a favor. I was fortunate to be left in such a cruel manner because it could have gone on forever. And don't get me wrong, the girl did betray me. She put my life in danger. It was borderline illegal, but I'd be in a much worse place if she had stayed. It's like mercy killing. One of my favorite writers, Charles Bukowski, once wrote, "There are worse things than being alone, and it often takes decades to find out. And by then, it's too late. And there's nothing worse than too late." You need to begin asking yourself some difficult questions and leave the fucking questions about her. Keep them out of your mind. You need to be taking care of yourself, strictly yourself. Start asking about you. Questions that may come with some scary answers like, are you truly trying to save the marriage or just postpone the divorce? The worst mistake that you can make in your life is not in your marriage, but in your life, is to waste your fucking time waiting around for other people to make decisions that you can be making yourself. That's a huge waste of time. Living in limbo, that's a huge waste of time. Remember that Facebook group I mentioned earlier? It's this one right here. I took a poll and I asked the men that were separated 18 months or longer if they were happier today than they were in their past year of their marriage. 85% of them said that indeed they are happier today. So I ask you, if you knew your fate, would you fight it? Because the day I found out about my fate and her entanglements, I was given a gift. I was able to begin loving myself again. I was able to let her go. I get a lot of men saying that they would do anything to stop this pain, but I call bullshit. The more I study grief, the more I'm convinced that no, you don't. You want to get back with her, but you don't want to stop the pain. That pain you feel is your comfort zone, is your fucking past asking to be remembered. You want that pain because it keeps your love for her alive, and you're not ready to let go, and that's okay. You wouldn't be human if you didn't feel that way. But know that the sooner that you at minimum accept your circumstances, the faster you begin living life. But until then, you're just in limbo. It's the day that you choose to walk away when you're truly free, when you have the loyalty to yourself. And that's what I work with my clients, to make them think outside the box, to move forward. And the Stoic would say that you must accept your circumstances and surrender to your fate. And they're right. But you live a big-ass gap in your heart, and I'd say that you can't do that without getting something in return for your acceptance. So I bring out the existentialist in you and have you define your new soul, because you just gone through an ego death, and your soul right now is pretty empty. I'm working on a study with nearly 600 men. The study conclusively shows that denial is one of the biggest contributors to a low quality of life. In this case, 47. But of the guys that accepted their circumstances and are using this as an opportunity to recenter their life, and as they're now a single male, that quality of life, 78. 31 points. 31 points. Retake. Life. And as now they're a single male, their quality of life is now 78. That's a 31-point difference. For reference, the difference between someone that's newly separated versus those that are separated for 2 or more years is 14 points. And that's why I can't and I refuse to say to give it fucking time, because time's that shit she stole from you. And that's what I would have to say that you need to start. Embracing your new role, your new home, your new wardrobe, your new body, your lifestyle, and the freedom that you have, that you could do whatever the fuck you want. And the beauty of all this is that you have so much more control. You have more control than you think, and it's beautiful because you've just been given a gift. And just like iron, you could make it into something stronger like steel, or you could just let it rust by not doing anything. Choice is yours. Earlier mentioned marriage coaches and men waiting 4 years to get their wife back, but I've seen some men in some horrible shit talking about it's been 10 years, and I'd say it's heartbreaking, but it's also frustrating because they're losing out on life, their children, their grandchildren, their other family members. It's time for them to take accountability here. You're not only hurting yourself, but others around you, because I've seen children tell their parents to get over their mom in tears. You don't want to be that guy. Schedule a one-on-one with me. Don't let the now lead your life for another day. Many of my videos, they're inspired by true life events, and this one's no different. I had a guy that was on his over a year trying, and after our talk, he felt much better, but he wasn't ready. He was going to give it an additional 2 months, and I have enough experience here to know what he was really saying. But someone in my position, it takes patience, because I really did want to reach across the screen and say, dude, fucking sign already. What are you waiting for? But I know that I'm not the right messenger for that. Regardless, as I do with other men I speak with, I usually follow up with a single, hey, hope you're well. My part of the sales is done. I just want to make sure that they're okay. But those 2 months, they became a year. Since that year, he lost so much more resources than he started with. He had a rental. He's now staying at his parents', lost his job, has a temporary restraining order, and his children, they don't want to be around him. He's too miserable. He had so many resources to start with, but now he's lost the most basic of them. And you know what he said? I wish I would have listened to you. Don't waste another second of your time. Become your own man, and I'll help you get the fuck up. And again, gain control, because you need to start loving yourself. Stop second guessing yourself, and you leave your ex wondering, where the fuck did he gain so much confidence? Make your one-on-one. Again, the link is in the comment section underneath. And join our Facebook group. Don't waste another second of your life. Thank you very much.